Hello everybody, I'm Chester, and this is... Yep, Danganronpa. Back here again with part 22. Man, I can't believe... Like, seriously, these games take a long time. I want to get done with this soon so I can, like, play other games. I mean, I really like this game, and I really like the anime stuff. Like, I actually have the collection of, like, the series, like the show, the anime they made for the game, Danganronpa. But this actually takes longer than the anime. Like, it takes, like, they talk a lot, especially in the dialogue. You have to talk, like, a lot, and it repeats some of the same stuff too. So yeah. Do I have anything extra? Movie clips, artwork, bank gallery, sound gallery. Show your hand about. Oh. That's not... Oh, I could cheat and go to the school store right away. Okay. Why didn't I know that? Okay, whatever. I could have done it here from the beginning. Okay. Okay. If I had known that, I would have freaking done that before. Okay. Whatever. Now I know. Okay. Now I need to remember that stuff. Okay. For now, let's just continue where we left off. Where we last left off, we need to now figure out who killed Sakura, what's the mystery of the locked room, and who did what, and what Ray, like, arranged the events. Okay, so I need to remember who does what voice, and what the hell, like I'm doing, so, okay. Monokuma made his announcement, and everyone began to meet up, one after another. And then... Ultimate martial artist! Okay. Emoji. A locked room murder mystery emoji. I don't know. I'm just gonna say emoji. Mickey face emoji.
What?
What the? Oh, I've just recently discovered the power of emoticons. Oh, wait, it's not emoji. Fuck. People are going to say that I suck at it. Okay. Okay. Whatever. People get confused. Okay. Power of emoticons. Okay. Like, no matter how awful something is, if you toss a smiley face, it turns positive. Okay. Actually, hold on. I want to test out something. I want to see how this works. I want to see how good this microphone is. Hold on.
Like, no matter how awful something is, if you toss this in a smiley face, it turns out positive.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, this is weird. I've never tried this headset before. Okay. For example, you're at a picnic and you find a dead body. I don't know why it did make me smile, because it's just weird. But it is creepy, I will admit. This is just plain creepy.
Well?
And how about the reverse?
Phew.
No matter how great something is, if you put a sad face, it makes it super negative.
Yes,
For
indeed.
example, do you have 100 friends?
What?
He's right. That does make it seem sad.
I can't wait. I
Now
can't
then,
wait.
please get on the elevator. I'll see you all down there. What is that? To the left, down, left, right. I don't know. Fuck. Imagination. Okay, whatever. Is that supposed to be like? It looks like the action that. It's like that thing that SpongeBob does in that one episode, where he's like, imagination, with that rainbow and whatnot. Okay, whatever. What the hell was that about? I don't get it.
Just the worst.
I don't get you guys. How can you act so casual after murdering someone?
Don't look at me!
I don't think I'm acting casual.
Don't be mean!
I didn't murder anyone.
What the heck?
Yeah, I'm completely innocent. How dare you call me a murderer?
What the heck?
Whatever. Hold on. I wonder how this is going to sound. I'm really uncomfortable with this headset, I gotta say. Either way, the truth will be revealed soon enough. Because there can be no doubt that one of us is the culprit. The killer. The one that murdered Sakura. She was stronger than anyone I know. And yet someone killed her? And that person is here? That person is one of us? Okay, I need to change this up. I'm sorry.
There. I want now it sounds normal. Okay. Let's check to make sure.
Don't look at me!
I said before, but I say again, it wasn't me. Can you make sure?
What the heck?
Because I didn't do it. How many times do I have to tell you? I know you, Gosu. The culprit is one of us. Make no mistake about that.
What the heck?
How can you just stand there and say you didn't do it? Okay, hold on. Without even breaking a sweat.
Hey.
Man, I really filled my voice almost. Standing around here isn't going to do any good. Let's get going. Come on, it's time to put an end to this. I made my way toward the elevator. But with each step I took, I felt like I was moving further and further away from my goal. I could feel chilling fear running through me, trying to make me rock from the inside out. No matter how many times I go through with this, it never gets any easier. You climb into the steel prison until silence. Okay. We watched the doors close, and it felt it began a sinister descent. The elevator lowered, uttering its all too familiar clunking sounds. It fell lower and lower. Suddenly, as always, the ride was over. The doors opened once again. Just the 6 of you, huh? Really?
This is kind of
That's so
depressing.
few. You must be so lonely. You say it like it's not your fault. We're all that's left. You say like it's not your fault. We're all that's left. I wonder, will the class trial end with one less classmate again? Or will the school life come to an end completely?
Now then.
Now then, are we ready to begin? You know the drill. Find your assigned seats. I wonder what happens if somebody actually wins. Like, and there's actually one survivor. Like, who wins the entire game by betraying all his classmates of some sort. Or her. I'm not saying it's... Well, I'm not saying it's... Can't be a girl either. I'm sorry. Okay. And so the curtain opened for the 4th time. A deadly class trial! Let's stop with the introduction and frickin' get into it. Okay. Set my skills. Because I'm awesome. Ah, come on. Cost 4 points, you fucking bitch. Okay. Increase bullet capacity, effective during full-time battle. I need to increase my skill points or something. So I need to have more free time with people. Okay. Or something. 2 bullets. My camera file, record window, magazine, polka dot candy wrapper, last shard on the floor, figure, my food mobiles, empty protein drink, handprint, I see Hina's account, Yaki's account, Toko's account, pocket trash, yellow powder, Yoko's, Kuma powder, magazine, diamond message, chem lab, social powder, footprints in the powder. I'm going to nail this on the first try. Let's do this. Best detective right here.
Let's begin with a basic explanation. If you can figure out who, then I'll punish everyone beside. Now then, where to be?
We already know who did it.
Whoa, deja vu.
That is deja vu. She said the same thing.
The one who killed Sakura is one of the people that hated her. Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It was one of you.
Idiot.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah! I'd never kill someone, no way!
I don't want to hear your stupid excuses.
Hina seems really sure that one of those 3 is the killer. But she must have some reason for believing that. And we know, right, Makoto? That's to Hina's account. Let's go.
It was one of you. One of you killed Sakura.
And what reason do you have for saying so?
Because you all had a motive. You hated her.
Is that it? That doesn't make any sense.
That's the only reason you have her accusing us?
That's low. That's about as low as you can get.
Some concrete reason why Hina suspects those 3 specifically. I'm sure she mentioned it before.
It was one of you. One of you killed.
And what reason do you...
Because you hated her.
Is that it? That doesn't make any sense.
That's the only reason you have her accusing us?
Oh. Fuck.
That's low. That's about as low as you can get. It was one of you killed.
And what reason do you...
Because you hated her.
Is that it? That doesn't make any sense.
That's the only reason you have her accusing us?
That's low. That's about as low as you can get. It was one of you killed.
And what reason do you...
Because you hated her.
Is that it? That doesn't make any...
That's the only reason you have her accusing us?
Haha.
No, that's wrong.
Another reason you suspect them is because Sakura wanted to meet with them, right?
Yeah, and that was right before she died, so there's no doubt about it. One of those 3 killed her.
We can't disagree with Hina. There's good reason to suspect all 3 of them. Then does that mean one of them did it? We need to check to make sure. Pocket trash. Oh, Hiro. You're screwed.
The fact that Sakura wanted to meet with all 3, there's no way that's not. One of you is absolutely guilty.
I don't deny that she wanted to meet with us, but I never went to see her.
I didn't either.
Yeah, same here. I never saw her.
Come on.
Let's make sure.
There's no way at least one of you is lying.
Yep, definitely here. There's a clear contradiction in something one of them just said just now. If they didn't go see Sakura, then how can they explain it? Okay.
The fact that Sakura, there's no way that one of you is
I don't deny that I never went.
I didn't.
Yeah, same here. I never saw her.
Sure.
No, that's wrong. Hiro, when we were talking before, you dropped a small piece of paper, remember? It was white with red polka dots.
What's that got to do with anything?
red polka dots? That's gotta be the wrapper from the candy I gave Sakura.
No, it's...
Ever since we got into the warehouse, I totally monopolized that entire box of candy.
It's true. So you can game. Okay, come on. I need to turn this off. And then I'll...
So there's no way a single one of them was left in the warehouse.
In that case, Hiro, where did you get that piece of candy?
From Sakura! It's the only explanation.
Well, I mean... Yeah, sure I got it from her, but she gave it to me forever ago. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to her.
When? When did she give it to you?
The last time you saw Sakura was... when Hina had to go to the nurse's office, right?
Yeah, so I must have got it sometime before then.
But what Hiro said can't be right, because Sakura could have only gotten that candy after the incident in the nurse's office. And the reason I know that is when Sakura got that candy.
I got it!
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Hina didn't actually give Sakura the candy till after she left the nurse's office. So if that was the last time you saw her, there's no reason you should have had that candy.
Damn it! I mean, what I meant was... Oh, that's right! I did meet up with her in the rec room. Got a problem with that?
Why the sudden hostility?
But we just talked, that's all. I didn't do anything, you gotta believe me.
You're acting incredibly suspicious.
You're acting incredibly suspicious.
More hostility.
It's not just normal hostility. You're the real culprit. I even have proof.
Huh? Proof? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about her shining message.
What would a signed message even be?
At the scene of the crime, she had written out Toko in her own blood, right? It was her dying message. Just like what you guys were talking about with Sayaka.
That's true. I saw it for myself.
See? See? Toko did it!
What are you saying? No way! I didn't do it!
You just don't know when you're beat, do ya?
Hiro, hold on. When did you see that dying message of hers?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
You could have seen it.
When we found Ogre's body. Duh.
But if you recall, Hina was very adamant about keeping you away from the scene of the crime, so it's hard to believe that's when you actually saw the message for yourself.
Oh, hold on. When Kyoko found the magazine with the dying message in it, it was on the magazine shelf.
I got it! Kyoko, you found the magazine on the magazine shelf, right?
That's right. Looking through the shelf, I found the magazine with the dying message on it. I found it right there at the scene of the crime, after we'd started the investigation.
If that's true, then what Hiro just said doesn't really make sense, does it?
Doesn't make sense? What doesn't make sense? Everything I said makes perfect sense.
Something strange about it. Okay. Kyoko found the dying message during the investigation, in which case that clearly contradicts what Hiro told us. Oh, please don't tell me I have to. Okay.
I can tell you exactly when I found when Ogre's body was discovered.
And I can tell you when it was only after the investigation. I found the magazine tucked away on the magazine shelf.
When I pulled it out.
What's your problem? What I said makes total sense.
Okay, after, I'm guessing.
I can tell you exactly when Ogre's body was discovered.
And I can tell you when I found it was only after the investigation had begun. I found the magazine tucked away on the when I pulled it out.
What's your problem? What I said makes total sense.
He said he saw the dying message when he first found the body. But at that time, where was the magazine?
I can tell you exactly when I found when Ogre's body was discovered.
No, oh shit. I messed up. Which run did I say?
Shoot!
Ah, I must be.
I can tell you exactly when Ogre's body was discovered.
And I can tell you it was only after I found the magazine tucked away on the magazine shelf.
When I pulled it out,
What's your problem? What I said makes total sense.
I can tell you exactly when Ogre's body was discovered.
Magazine.
No, that's wrong!
Whatever. Magazine self. Let's do it.
When Sakura's body was found, that magazine was sitting on the shelf nearby. That's where Kyoko found it. After and you weren't at the murder scene. So there's no way you could have seen. Tell us the truth, Hiro. When did you see the message?
Hold on! You're focusing on the wrong part! Why does it matter when I saw it? All you gotta do is read the Vienna sausage Ogre left us, and we know who the killer is! Toko!
I don't even know where to begin with that one.
He's just trying to confuse us.
Actually, can we even be sure Sakura wrote that message in the first place?
Yeah? I think we can all agree Ogre wrote that message. 100%! Without a doubt, she wrote it! And this is me talking, so you know it's true!
Without doubt. No, I absolutely do doubt it. There's no way Sakura wrote that message. Oh shit. Okay. I have to do this shit. Okay.
Show me the proof. I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap. Give it a rest. I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap. The end is nigh! Show me the proof. I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap. Give it a rest. Show me the proof.
This should prove it.
Yes. Okay.
I'm completely unconvinced that Sakura wrote that dying message, because if you look at it, the message was almost certainly written using a finger, but both of her hands were completely free of blood.
Say what?
Then, who did write it?
Hiro could very well have written it himself. That would explain how he knew about the message in the first place.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Ah! He admits it!
I figured as much.
But why would you write something like that?
Because I killed her!
You're admitting to kill her?
Please, just let me explain what happened. I got Ogre's note, and so I headed to the rec room right before noon, just like it said.
You just did exactly as the note asked? What a fool.
And when I got there...
Oh god, I gotta do the voice. Fuck. How do I do that voice? Sorry. Damn it. What was the voice? Sorry, but do you mind waiting? I've asked a couple of other people to meet as well. Okay. Would you like a piece of candy? It might give you some energy. It might give you some energy. Oh, sure, thanks.
And that's all she said. After that, we just stood around in awkward silence. Suddenly, I heard her mutter something.
This is it. I am going to end it today. I am going to end everything.
As soon as I heard that, I just knew. I knew she was gonna try and kill me. She was gonna kill me and make her escape. So of course I freaked out, and then... I saw my only chance. I grabbed the Monokuma bottle from the shelf and smashed it across her head. I hit her from behind before she had any idea what was happening. Then she just went limp. I didn't see her move again after that. Once it was over, I pulled myself together. I realized if I didn't do something, I'd be caught and executed. So I wrote Toko's name in blood across a magazine on the table and I ran away.
I can't believe you! You're the worst! I hope you die!
Well, that's what happened. Go ahead. Roast me, boil me, do whatever you want.
You're not gonna get off that easy. It's death. Death for the one that killed Sakura. We're ready to vote now, right? We know who did it.
No. I think there's more to Hiro's story.
What are you talking about? What else could there be?
There's one thing that Hiro's story just now doesn't explain, and until we figure that part out, we can't consider the case closed.
So what is it the hero did? So what is it that hero did that doesn't make sense? What he would have had to do after writing the message doesn't make sense. Why the magazine was hidden? Why didn't he use Sakura's face? Why he picked Toko? Why the magazine was hidden?
That's true. Everything you just said. It doesn't explain why the magazine was hidden, does it?
Huh?
By the time the body was discovered, the magazine had been picked up and put on the shelf. Why would you take the time to write that message, then stick it somewhere we might not find it?
Oh. Well, I didn't hide it. I'm sure I just left it sitting there on the table.
Really?
He's lying! He's gotta be lying!
I don't see any reason he would lie now, after already confessing to the crime.
Then, he's not lying?
Assuming he's telling the truth, someone else must have put the magazine back on the shelf. In other words, at least one other person was in the rec room both before and after the incident.
I don't think there's any question about that.
But then, who was it?
If they went to the trouble of hiding the magazine, they must not have liked what was written on it.
Someone who might... yeah. What would happen if I choose him? That would be funny. It wouldn't have, but there's only one choice.
I got it! It had to be Toko, right? Who else would want to hide the magazine other than the person whose name was written on it?
Was he right, Toko? Did you really go to the rec room?
Why would I have... Wait! But more important, that doesn't even matter! We already know who did it, right? Hiro just admitted it!
That's right. I killed her.
No, you didn't.
Who asked you?
I don't doubt Hiro attacked Sakura with the bottle. But that's not where this case ends.
What do you mean?
What he means is that Hiro isn't the killer.
You can't be serious! That's just... I don't believe it!
Hiro, tell us what happened one more time. If we go through it once more, it should become clear he's not Sakura's killer.
So...
Just tell us what happened one more time, when you attacked Sakura.
I don't really see why, but... okay.
We haven't reached the end of the case just yet. Hiro isn't the real killer, and I have to prove that.
I didn't want to, but I did it. I grabbed a Monokuma bottle from the shelf nearby, and I hit Ogre from behind before she could do anything.
You hit her from behind, and you only hit her once.
Yeah,
Just once.
after the first swing, and she...
See? Hiro really is the killer!
I didn't want to, but I grabbed a Monokuma and I hit Ogre
From behind before she could do it.
You hit her from behind, and you only hit her...
Yeah, just once.
No, that's wrong.
That's wrong. Somebody hit her again.
If Sakura died from Hiro's single blow, that doesn't explain why she had 2 head wounds.
Huh? 2?
That's right. She had 2 separate wounds on her head.
And remember, this girl examines dead bodies as a hobby. Personally, I'm inclined to believe her.
But I only hit her once. How could she have 2 wounds?
2 wounds means she was struck twice. What's more, both attacks must have come from a Monokuma bottle.
Hold on. How can you know that just from some cuts on her head? She was attacked twice with 2 Monokuma bottles?
It's not just because of her head wounds. It's also because of the Monokuma bottles themselves. There's something very Once you understand that point, you'll understand why 2 separate Monokuma bottles must have been used. Think back. After the incident, there were 4 Monokuma bottles left on the shelf, right? And we found pieces of a bottle on the ground, along with the chest piece it had in.
That was the bottle Hiro hit Sakura with.
For now, just note that there were 4 intact bottles and 1 broken bottle. But originally, there were 6 bottles in total, meaning 1 has gone missing.
But how can you know for sure there were 6 bottles?
That's easy. If you look at what the bottles all had in.
Correlation between the Makuma bottles feels like it's starting to become clear. That connection must be it's the object the Makuma figure keeps inside the bottle I was holding. Okay. If I remember, it's chest figure. Oh, chest piece. Okay. Give me a key, damn it. E. And another E. Give me an E.
Now I understand!
Here we go.
That's it! The chess pieces! Inside each bottle, there was a Monokuma figure holding a different chess piece.
King, rook, bishop, pawn. I definitely remember seeing each of those.
And the piece that was inside the broken bottle, the knight.
So, what's that?
I guess you don't know too much about chess, do you? Then let me in chess, there are 6 different pieces. The king, the queen, the rook, knight, bishop, and pawn.
So the queen.
What was left intact at the crime scene were the king, rook, bishop, and pawn. Just those 4. And on the ground was the knight.
Oh, so the queen is missing.
So we only have evidence for 5 bottles at the scene, while 1 apparently went missing.
What does chess have to do with anything?
Yeah, shogi is way better.
Yeah. Wait, no, that's not what I mean. So, let's say a bottle did go missing. There's still no evidence that has anything to do with this. That bottle could have disappeared any time before the murder.
No. It's clear that the missing bottle is connected to this case.
How is it clear?
Think about what state the missing bottle must have been in. Maybe then.
Wait. Then the bottle that was missing was broken.
I got it! The bottle must have been broken.
What makes you so sure?
Because there was evidence at the scene that supports.
Huh?
That's right. We found evidence that shows there was more than just 1 broken bottle at the scene.
And what is this evidence?
It wasn't just a single broken bottle, and evidence that proves it that is. Kyoko and I figured out before. Let's do it. Let's prove him. Let's throw it right in their face.
I got it! Earlier, Kyoko and I did a little experiment. We compared the weight of the broken bottle pieces at the scene to one of the unbroken bottles. And what we found was that the collection of pieces was heavier. And the reason for that is there was actually more than 1 bottle's worth of shattered glass.
So from this, we can surmise that 2 bottles were actually broken at the scene of the crime. But someone did their best to clean up the pieces of 1 of the bottles, along with the figure inside. But when they did, they must have left behind a few too many pieces, which is only natural. They certainly had no way to measure the exact right number of pieces to remove.
But why would they have to try and get rid of it like that anyway?
Because of what it would reveal about the case.
There can be no doubt that the second missing Monokuma bottle involved in this case must have been used by Sakura's second attacker.
I got it! The bottle that was removed from the scene was used the second time Sakura was attacked.
The second wound on Sakura's head came from that second bottle. Given all the evidence, this is the only possible conclusion.
The killer wanted to make it look like there was only 1 attack, so they had to get rid of their evidence.
From there, we can conclude that it wasn't Hiro who delivered that second blow. Wouldn't you agree, Toko? And there's the matter of the magazine. You must have been in the rec room when the incident took place.
Wait! I admit, maybe there was a second attack, but there's no evidence I had anything to do.
No way! You killed her! I'm sure of it!
Shut up! Until 2 seconds ago, you were claiming you killed her!
I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. That's just the kind of guy I am. Plus, I just remembered something that proves it.
Okay, fine. Let's hear it.
It was right after I got Ogre's note. I was kind of nervous about it, so I went to the rec room early. You know, to stake it out or whatever. So I was waiting there, and that's when I saw Toko go into the rec room. Pretty soon, Ogre showed up, and she went into the rec room. I assumed Toko was still in there, so I figured everything would be okay. That's why I headed in. But when I got inside, Ogre was all alone. Toko had disappeared.
And you just now decided to share that with us?
After the shock of thinking I'd killed someone, I forgot all about it.
Could someone tighten the screws on his brain? I think they've come loose.
So, Toko, where the heck did you disappear to?
You don't know what you're talking about. I never went in the rec room.
I'm sure she didn't disappear. But maybe she found somewhere to hide.
Hiding me in the rec room? Don't be ridiculous! Whoa. Why are you all ganging up on me? You're all nothing but vermin!
No, it's not ridiculous at all. I need proof that shows Toko was hiding in the rec room. And I have it. And she left it there for anyone to find. A new element has been added to the bolt-time bells. Would you like to hear more? Ah, God. Okay. So far, you've probably been pressing the triangle during your final strike without a second thought, but from now on you're going to have to pay a little extra attention to your finishing blow. Now you have to choose the proper truth bullet use during your coup de grace. Select it the same way, L1 button. Also select the debate, use the logic, difficulty, and kind. You'll have few bullets to choose them. So you go over 10, you set mean regardless, just answer right away. You're about halfway through the game now. Go you. Well done, good luck. Halfway through the game.
It's a lie! I admit nothing. I hate you. I curse you. No! That's enough! I admit nothing. I curse you. I curse you. It's a lie! That's enough! It's a lie! I admit nothing. I hate you. I curse you. That's enough!
This should prove it.
Yes.
Did you know someone left a handprint behind on the inside of the locker? They must have been hiding in there and put their hand on the wall without thinking. Does his handprint look familiar, Toko?
No, it doesn't.
Okay then, let's just compare it to your hand, shall we? That'll clear everything up.
Stop wasting my time. Just tell us the truth.
Okay, it's my handprint.
Dang, she just straight up admitted it?
Then you killed Sakura!
No, I swear there's no way!
Out with it.
I probably did kill her.
Straight up again?
Wait, what do you mean probably?
Give us the details, Toko. What happened between you and Sakura?
Talk. Now.
After I read Sakura's note, I decided to go there early, so I went into the rec room. I didn't know what she might do if I didn't go, but I was too scared to face her head on, so I figured I'd just sneak in first and hide in the locker.
Then, did you see what happened? Did you see me hit her?
Yes, and I saw you write my name. I saw you forge her dying message.
Well, that's awkward.
So after you left, I jumped out of the locker and put the magazine back on the shelf.
But when you did, you put it back, upside down.
I didn't mean to. I was in a hurry.
Imbeciles, all of you.
Forget all that. Why did you attack Sakura?
After I put the magazine back, I heard a sound behind me like a monster growling, and when I turned around,
Ooh.
there was Sakura, covered in blood, and staring right at me!
Oh god.
When I saw that blood, I fainted. Right there in front of the magazine. I don't remember what happened after that. If you want to know more, you'll have to ask her.
Her? You mean...
Get it back!
It was your fault after all!
My fault, Master's fault! When our faults combine, they soar to even greater heights!
Just answer the question. Did you kill Sakura?
Well, to be honest, Miss Morose and me don't actually share our memories, so I can't really say what was going on. But I was just minding my own business, sleeping peacefully when someone shook me awake. Was it a prince paying me a visit? I wondered. So I opened my eyes to see... splatter everywhere! I was not prepared for that. And, well, I guess it took me by surprise. I got so startled, I smacked her with the first thing I could find! Which I guess was a bottle. Sakura was just worried about you, and you're terrible! No, she's terrible! Thanks to her, I murdered someone who wasn't an adorable boy for the first time ever!
And when it was all over, you collected the pieces of the bottle to get rid of the evidence, didn't you?
I wasn't about to die for some woman! If I'm gonna go down, I want it to be for killing Master!
Just go away and die your meaningless death alone. Don't drag me into it.
But I just can't catch a break, you know? Fate's got it out for me. Because normally, Sakura should have been able to dodge my attack, no problem!
Even as strong as she is, she must have still been reeling from Hiro's attack.
Hey, come on! That's... you know... But anyway, I'm not the one that killed Ogre! So that's good?
So that's good? Keep talking about that and he doesn't...
Well then, that's that. Let's start the vote.
Huh? I thought for sure you were going to have some words for a hero down that
What's
one.
wrong? Come on everyone, we're ready to vote, right? Let's do this.
No, not quite yet.
Huh? Not yet? Why not yet?
Don't you think there was something odd about Toko's story? I mean, you had to have known.
Odd?
Hiro's attack, and then Toko's, but that still wasn't the end of it. Tell us your story one more time. Tell us what happened after you fainted. Then even this gaggle of idiots should understand what I'm talking about.
Your wish is my command, darling!
Okay, I remember. I think it's not over yet, is it? One who killed Sakura is... Status of Sakura's body, is it? We rated...
I was just sleeping peacefully. And all of a sudden, Sakura was right there. I remember waking up right in front of...
And you were taken by surprise when you saw Ogre covered in blood. So you smashed her head in with the...
You got it! I smashed her!
And where did the attack take place?
Right when I woke up! I killed her there in front of the shelf!
No.
No, that's wrong.
Yep.
We found Sakura sitting upright in a chair. If the blow by the shelf was the cause of death, there's no explanation why she was in that chair.
So, you finally noticed.
That's just another lie from a bloodthirsty serial killer.
Are you sure you didn't attack her while she was sitting in the chair?
No, I'm sure she's telling the truth. Anyone who saw the murder scene should think the same way.
That has to be it. Evidence that proves the attack was from the front of the blood stain.
I got it! Sakura was definitely attacked in front of the shelf. The blood stain by the magazines is proof of that.
Then she must have moved the body after she killed her, right? All to make it look like I did it. Because when I hit her, she was sitting in the chair.
Hey, come on now, look at me! I can't carry anything heavier than my own scissors! There's no way I could move a muscle-bound heavyweight like that!
Then what's the deal?
Well, are you still convinced the case has come to an end?
But...
Plus, the biggest mystery of all, the locked room, still has yet to be explained. Until we take care of that, we can't say this case has been properly settled.
Oh, that part's easy. After she killed Sakura, Toko just hid in the locker again.
So she just hid in there till everyone showed up and opened the door? And while everything was all confused and hectic, she just snuck out of the locker into the group.
No, I don't think that's possible.
The reason there's no way Toko was hiding in the locker is because I was in the locker. I saw it for myself. The locker was too small. That's not true because you saw it.
I got it!
I saw it for myself.
Even before we opened the door to the rec room, Hina and I both got a look inside. And at that point, the locker was already open.
Yep.
So obviously Toko couldn't have been hiding in there.
Okay then, where was she hiding?
I don't know! What's this whole locked room thing about anyway?
How do you not know? You killed her!
I think the fact that I don't know proves I didn't kill her. Thank you very much. You're lying!
No, she's not. I've been saying all along, there's still more to this case.
But if Genocide Jill didn't do it, that means Ogre didn't die from the shot to the head.
And
Well, I can't imagine what else could have killed her.
that's because you're overlooking vital information.
You'd be really missing something so important. But there's another possible explanation. Maybe it's... I know what it is. Vomited blood. So, it's either yellow powder or Monokuma file. Probably not.
What was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other possible cause. What killed Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot to her.
No, that's wrong.
Yep. Thought so.
According to the Monokuma file, Sakura had vomited blood. I think we can assume there's a chance this was related to her cause of death. In fact, there was even a trace of blood left around her mouth.
Well, I mean, maybe when she got hit with the bottles, she cut the inside of her mouth.
If that's all it was, the file wouldn't have specified vomited blood. Not to mention, I didn't find any cuts inside her mouth.
You even checked in there? God, you really are into dead bodies!
No, I'm not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries.
But if there wasn't a cut or anything, then what made her vomit blood?
Some sort of reaction within her body. Most likely, Sakura was poisoned.
Poisoned?
That's right. This is the conclusion I've arrived at, and so there can be no mistake.
You're making me go all weak in the knees!
She was
Face
poisoned?
like it.
It isn't possible.
Is it really so hard to believe? Then let me explain exactly how the culprit was
so
able to
hard to-
poison her.
Why is it so hard to believe she was poisoned? Because you saw the poison for yourself, too.
Can explain it?
You were in the chem lab with Sakura, and so was I. I saw
Of
it.
course, if you don't mind.
Everyone quiet! Shut up and listen to Master!
But you're the only one talking.
The key to unlocking this mystery was hiding in the chem lab up on the 4th floor.
Huh? Not in the rec room? Then I could have found it all along.
You never would have, since you gave up on the search the moment you were barred from the crime scene.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's a big shelving unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals. And that's where I found this.
Is that the poison?
It's not an especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink an entire bottle. But the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it.
Where'd you find it?
The shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C.
I
In
know
section
where
A, dietary supplements. In B, reagents. And in C, a variety of lethal chemicals.
And that's where the poison came from? Section C?
it was in section A.
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
The bottle of poison Byakuya just showed us. I'm sure I know where he got it. It was on the same shelf as the supplements. Positive section A.
I got it! The poison was actually in Section A, wasn't it?
Huh? But you just said that Section A was for supplements or whatever.
Strange, isn't it? Why would there be a bottle of poison mixed in with all those nutritional additives?
Yeah, so?
Because the culprit switched it out. That's why.
What do you mean?
I mean, this.
I couldn't believe my eyes. Byakuya put the bottle of poison to his lips.
Master!
We were so shocked at what we were seeing. All we could do there is stand there and watch. But as if we were the most natural As if it were the most natural thing in the world. Byakuya was calm as ever.
Ugh, that tastes awful.
Oh no! Master's in real trouble! You have to drink some water! You can't just swallow powder! It'll stick to your throat!
Idiot! He just swallowed poison! We need to make him spit it out!
The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff?
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the protein, of course.
Protein?
Can I see that bottle for a second?
Sure. Do whatever you like.
Kyoko took a bottle from Byakuya and scraped out a bit of the contents with one finger. She touched it, her finger to her tongue.
It's protein powder.
Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein, which makes one wonder, the poison that should have been in that bottle, where did it go?
Bottle of poison was actually filled with protein powder, which would mean the poison must have been could be. It went into the protein drink, right? Or the protein cup. Ah, shit. I freaking wrecked myself. Okay. And
Now I understand. The poison must have been poured into the protein can. If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right?
Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched, so the protein was in the bottle of poison, and the poison was in the protein can. Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to drink the poison.
Holy crap!
All they had to do was hand her something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself.
looking at the scene. Protein drink.
I got it! You're saying they gave her a protein drink.
A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison.
What?
That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death.
You know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein stuff was good for all kinds of aches and pains. So maybe she took it to try and help with the whole bleeding head wound thing.
But what was offered to her instead was a bottle full of poison. And I already know exactly who swapped the mixture.
For real? Who was it?
Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see.
Evidence that shows who switched them. It has to be. It must have been what we found on the shelf. The footprints. If I remember. Right?
I got it! The footprints left behind in front of the shelf. That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it?
I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have appeared around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected. What's more, the footprints were in front of Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison. The culprit must have gone to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind. And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who they belong to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see.
It was me.
Oh boy.
The footprints. They're mine.
Hina?
If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know?
Then Ogre's killer was...
Yep. I did it. I killed Sakura.
I don't trust that.
Just as I suspected. The footprints were made by a pair of sneakers. And the only people here who wear sneakers are...
Sneakers, huh? The only people... Me and Hina.
I got it! Me and Hina are the only ones. Oh, so Byakuya. That explains why you...
Go must have big feet. Damn. Bigger than Hina? These footprints must be... Go. Are they yours? No? Okay, then let me see your shoes and I'll confirm their size myself. Okay.
If the footprints didn't belong to Makoto, that left only one other possibility.
Just Hina.
Plus, Hina's been acting strange ever since the trial, but you were in an awful rush to get to the vote, weren't you? This whole time, you've been focused on pinning the crime on someone else, haven't you?
I can't believe it.
What about it can't you believe?
Well, it's just... the two of them were so close.
That's likely exactly why it turned out this way. Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction. Hina used that trust to kill her. She deceived the victim, and she tried to deceive all of us. I have to say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme.
I don't trust
Hina,
that Hina
is it true?
is the killer.
Did you really... kill Sakura? And if you did, why? Why would you do that?
I found her. There in the rec room. She was hurt.
Yeah, she's looking sad while...
She asked me to bring her that protein drink, but... when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just...
She wouldn't be sad
occurred to
telling
me
the
all of a
truth.
sudden.
This is so suspicious. Telling the truth as a sad thing... It's like you... Okay.
Now's my chance to kill her. That's what you thought, right? That's when you switched out the protein powder, and that's when you gave her the poisoned mixture.
And then... she downed it. All at once. And then...
Hold it! I'm not convinced.
You're not about to claim she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you? You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind. Honeyed words like friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them. Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves. Just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself.
You say that, but I'm still not convinced.
How many times do you plan to repeat yourself?
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimental, but there's still that one unsolved mystery, and I'm not convinced.
Are you talking about the locked room
Hina, if you really are the killer, explain it. How did you create that locked room?
Well... that doesn't matter. Just because I'm guilty, that means I have to tell you everything?
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you won't tell us concerns me.
Surely you're not... Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her?
And if I do?
Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She's the culprit. There's no way you can doubt this.
Are you sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit.
What doesn't fit?
I mean, why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint? It's too... obvious. Too easy.
He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you.
That was... I was just... nervous. So... I didn't notice I'd left a footprint.
You didn't notice?
Yeah. That's just how it was. What can I do?
Listen, Hina. Could you go into a bit more detail? Tell us more about when you switched the poison...
How come? That doesn't matter.
Hina, please.
Fine.
Waste your time if you like. It's clear that Hina... There's nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly...
Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived.
Right away, I went to Section C and got the poison.
And is that when you spilled the powder in front of the...
Yeah. When I opened the box.
I see. Okay, then.
So then I moved to Section A and got the protein powder. And that's where I switched them. Once I was done with that, I took the protein can that had the poison in it. But I accidentally put the bottle filled with protein powder back. And because of that, everything...
That story, first you went to Section C to get the meaning you went from Section...
Isn't it strange?
Can you repeat that series?
What's wrong with you, Big Mac?
It's the same thing no matter how many.
How long? Until I figure out. Until I. The full truth of this case. You go. Come on. You go, Makoto. So it's the powder.
First, I went to Section C. That's when I grabbed the poison. And you spilled some of the powder? Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped.
Okay, and then?
I moved from Section C to... And that's where I switched the powder. Once I was done, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder. Then I took the bottle and left the... That's all there is.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate?
Okay, I think I...
First, I went to Sections. That's when I grabbed the poison. And you spilled some of the powder? Yeah.
Okay,
And then I moved from Section
C to
No.
No, that's wrong.
Yep. Thought so. Okay.
You said you went to get the poison from Section C. And that's where you spilled the powder, right?
Yeah?
And after that, you said you moved from... But the footprints left at the scene were not moving from Section C to Section A. That contradicts what you just said.
What?
Then maybe she moved in some weird direction on purpose to disguise her move.
No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just...
I was nervous, so I didn't...
What the? Hina, what's the meaning of this?
You lied to us. Plain and simple. If you look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious. The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to Section A, so you never went to Section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved Section A.
Well, you see...
What the hell? What's going on here?
And the footprints aren't the only problem with her account.
Through. See, Asha.
What?
Before I explain that part, I'd like to submit some new evidence.
New evidence? Impossible, there can't be.
Are you sure? After all, you're the one that gave it to me.
I did?
It was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you, of all people, would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight.
Just say it already! What is it you think you found?
I found
A piece of
it had
glass.
sunk to the bottom of the bottle, and the hidden clue was exposed, thanks to you ingesting the powder. I couldn't have solved the mystery without you. So, thank you for that.
But...
Oh, you still don't realize? Well then, Makoto, why don't you explain it?
Huh? Me?
Fine. If you really do know, explain the meaning of that shard.
The shard of life regressed. I think I remember now. I broke the same shard. The rec room window.
I got it! It's part of the window from the rec room door, right?
The window?
The window we broke to get in was light blue, just like that. So I think that must be it.
You're right. It must be. Of course, that leads to another question. How did a shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison?
What's so strange about that?
What's strange is that, according to what Hina told us,
Where's the bottle of the poison that should have been broken in the rec room window? Section A still?
I got it!
Yeah.
The bottle of poison was left on the shelf in the chem lab. That is what you said, right? And yet, somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way into the bottle.
Everything Hina told us was a lie?
In reality, that bottle of poison most definitely found its way to the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of that glass in that bottle.
And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found at the crime scene was planted there. That had to be after the locked room was opened. In other words, after Sakura died.
Wait, hold on. You're moving too fast. I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may well have been in the rec room when it was locked, but how can you say the protein can was put there after the room was unlocked? We already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, right? If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned?
You're right. We do need to but before we do, there's something I'd like.
Huh?
It has to do with after Sakura's body was discovered.
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of loaded question?
Not at all. Just answer to the best of your.
Well, no, not.
Yeah.
Not me.
Same here.
Yeah, me either.
Okay then, that settles it. That proves that the protein can found its way to the murder scene after the room was opened.
Oh, come on! How can you say that? How can you know what I don't know?
The reason she can say that is because there's evidence. There's proof that somebody brought it after it was opened. Oh, it's because the glass was underneath the can. Okay.
When it comes to that there's not a doubt until the locked room was unlocked. It absolutely was.
So you're saying someone planted it there?
No. No, it had to have been in there the whole time! It had to be! It was in there before the rec room was...
No, that's wrong.
Ooh, you tell him, Makoto.
You remember how there was broken glass scattered all around the room, right?
Of course! It came from the window.
Well, those pieces weren't just scattered around. He also found pieces underneath the can.
What?
And this proves it shows that the can must have been put down on the floor after the window was broke. So it had to be after we got into the room.
I see. So that's your explanation. Kyoko, earlier when you asked if anyone had moved the can or tripped over...
If that were the case, that would explain the can being on top of the glass.
So you asked everyone about it to eliminate that possibility right out of the gate.
And that's made everything clear, hasn't it? As long as it was a locked room, it only contained the bottle of poison, and not the protein can. But once the room was opened up, they were switched, and the protein can wound up in the rec room, and the bottle of poison returned to the chem lab.
If that's all true, then why did Sakura drink the poison? I thought we all agreed she was tricked into drinking it because of the protein.
No, that's not why. The only explanation is she drank it from its original bottle, knowing exactly what it was.
Precisely. She was alone in a locked room. All she had was the poison.
You're saying she drank it knowing what it was? Such a ridiculous fiction.
Exactly what happened.
Then tell us already. Sorry. Please, tell us.
Ooh, he's actually being nice.
Before we get to that, we need to clarify one other thing. We need to establish who exactly got the poison from the chem lab and took it to the rec room.
It was Hina, right? She took it and gave it to Ogre.
What do you think, Mc...
Oh my god. Sakura.
I got it! I think it was Sakura herself.
Huh? So Sakura, who was apparently murdered.
What are you talking about?
There's no way!
On the contrary, we know for a fact she went to the chem lab, right to the section full of poison.
You're lying! Stop lying! Why? Why would you lie like...
No, it's not a lie. Sakura did. He went to the section C. Kyoko showed me the evidence I need. Now I have to hit Hina with it. I have to make her accept it. Let's fuck her up. Okay.
You're a liar! What are you saying? Wrong! You're wrong! I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong! Wrong! You're wrong! I hate you! You're a liar! What are you saying? Wrong! You're wrong! I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong! Wrong! You're wrong! I hate you! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong! Stop talking! I hate you!
Oh god, okay.
Do you have any kind of proof Sakura took the poison?
This should prove it.
Yep. There's a yellow powder on her shoe, bitch.
Hina,
Oh.
did you know that Sakura's foot had a certain yellow powder stuck to it?
It did?
It did. The same yellow powder that had been spilled by the shelf in the chem lab. That powder was yellow. So the powder we found on Sakura. What else could it be but the powder from the chem?
Wait. So, what was that powder?
And it was only on her instinct.
Sakura must have been standing right there where so the person who spilled the powder by the shelf wasn't Hina, but Sakura. And when Sakura dropped the bottle, she dropped it away from where she was, which is how she was able to avoid getting it all over. But the powder still got scattered around, and some of it must have wound up on her instep. Is there any problem with my thinking?
But why did Sakura pay a visit to Section C in the first place? The only explanation is that she was looking for poison. After all, that's all that section contained.
No! It was me! The poison! Because I killed her!
No, you didn't kill her.
The one that killed Sakura. The connection between Sakura and the poison. The unsolved mystery of the locked room. There's only one way to explain it. Who is it? It is the person who made the locked room possible. The only person who gathered all this stuff, who made all this
Here's
happen.
my answer!
Sakura.
The one who killed Sakura was Sakura herself.
The killer was Sakura?
Wait, so you're saying it was suicide?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it any more than I believe I can fly.
I can't believe it either. Or rather, I don't want to believe it. But when you really think about it, everything matches up. Sakura went and got the poison. She barricaded herself in a room, and she drank it, all so she could end her own life. And that explains why we couldn't solve the mystery of the locked room.
Because, of course, Sakura wanted to
I
create
got it!
the killer.
The locked room mystery was created by Sakura.
I'm sure she locked herself in so nobody could stop her from doing what she sat there, drank the poison, and breathed her last breath. And the empty bottle of poison rolled around the locked room until we came and opened it. At that point, someone grabbed the bottle and snuck it out of the room. And that was you, wasn't it, Hina? You did it to throw off the investigation, didn't you? When we found her body, you stayed right there near the door because you already knew Sakura was dead, and because the bottle of poison had rolled near the doorway.
That's when you picked up the bottle, right? I was too shocked to notice anything, and Kyoko was busy checking the body.
And the more I think about it, the more I realize how unusual your actions were.
I have to go get them. I have to go get the others. Which is...
You said you were going to go get everyone else, but your real intention was to go to the chem lab and switch out the containers, wasn't it? Once you were at the chem lab, you headed straight to the section where the protein powder was kept. There, you took the powder and poured it into the bottle of poison you'd grabbed from the rec room. When you left the lab, all you had was the empty protein can. Thinking about it like that, the footprints make perfect sense.
When you were done, you gathered everyone together. And once you were back in the wreck...
So she's dead, huh? Sakura's been killed, I see.
While everyone else was focused on Sakura, you quietly placed the can on the ground. Honestly, I should have noted. You should have been the first one to run up to Sakura's lifeless body. The Hina I know never would have left her side in a situation like that.
So, Sakura committed suicide. In order to hide this fact, Hina undertook a series of actions to undermine the investigation. As long as you could disguise the truth, you didn't care if we blamed you for her death. That's why you didn't bother to get rid of such obvious evidence, right? The footprints in the powder and the bottle of poison? Vital pieces of evidence. And yet...
So you're saying Hina consciously deceived us to make it look like she killed Sakura?
No! I killed her! I did it!
That's enough, Hina. It's over.
It's not! Nothing's over!
It is. Actually, no. You're right. You have to end this properly.
I have to do this comic book thing anyway. Damn it. I have to figure out how to... Okay. Okay, he already got the candy, so... What was in the Monokuma that Hiro hit Sakura with? Night. That I think that's actually this.
Here's exactly what happened.
I think this is it. Okay, I got
This
it.
case began when Sakura asked a number of people to meet her in the rec room.
Hiro, Toko, Byakuya.
Specifically, those people were Hiro, Toko, and Byakuya. But one of them headed out a bit earlier than the others. Toko. She got there one step ahead of everyone else and looked around for a good hiding spot. And she found it. She crawled into the locker to get out of sight. Then, from inside the locker, she saw Sakura enter the room. Next to arrive was Hiro. When he got there, he mistakenly thought Sakura was going to try to kill him. Without thinking, he grabbed a nearby, thinking he'd killed her. He took a magazine from the tape. To that end, he wrote down a name. Toko. By writing her name, he was hoping to pin the murder on her.
Why didn't you choose Byakuya, by the way? Maybe he thought he was too smart to... He figured he wasn't going to be able to pin it on him, so...
But of course, Toko had witnessed the whole thing. So as soon as the coast was clear, she jumped out of the locker and hid the But in her rush, she made one. She put the magazine
upside down.
Soon after, she also saw the blood dripping off Sakura. This caused her personality to switch back over to Genocide Jack. When she woke back up, her second person, and she freaked out. And just like Hiro, she grabbed and this explains why there were. Assuming Sakura really was dead this time, she set about She gathered up the broken Monokuma bottle shards and the queen chess piece. And that explains how Sakura was attacked. But even after those two so then, what was Sakura? It was the poison that's... She turned the rec room into a true locked room. And there, she... Later on, the rest of... We had to smash the door's window to get... But someone already... And that same someone... And while nobody was looking, replaced it with an empty protein can. They did all this specifically to place all the suspicion on themselves in an attempt to guide the trial to a false conclusion. And the one who went to all that effort
was you, Hina.
Was you, Hina. That's the full truth of the case. Sakura, took her own life, and you claim to be the killer to hide that fact. Isn't that right?
That's what happened? But Makoto, how did you manage to, how were you able to uncover the truth that even I couldn't discern?
Huh? Oh, well, I mean...
You still haven't realized? We don't all act according to calculations and cost-benefit diagrams. That's what you don't understand. And that's why you couldn't solve this case. See? Didn't I tell you? When you dismiss other people's feelings, it'll always come back to bite you in the end.
Yeah, Kyoko, you tell him. There we go. Still got an A. The best.
Okay. I think we can all agree you made your point. Did you guys forget already? You still haven't voted yet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You seriously forgot? I can feel my energy draining out of... Well, whatever. You don't really have a choice anyway. You just gotta do it. Maybe you don't want to, but please grab your lever and cast your vote. So, who will be chosen? Will you make the right choice? What's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be there? Okay. 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 This is... I did not mean to say his line, but okay. Okay, that's... I gotta stop saying okay. So... I'm gonna stop it right here for now. I think right here is okay to stop. But... because things are getting interesting, and I want to save that for another time. And... I know I should probably do more, that way I could, like, be able to get done with Danganronpa and get on to more other Danganronpa videos and other videos like Mirror's Edge, Call of Duty, maybe Fortnite, all that. But for now, I want to make sure it lasts, but also make sure it becomes interesting for people. So, for now, this is where I gotta leave it. But yeah, Sakura killed herself, and we finally got the answer we were hoping. So, I'll see you all next time, and next time we see each other in this video for part 23, I believe, is... For part 23, I believe I'm going to be doing, how should I say this? I'm probably going to be doing, like I'm going to probably be spending the coins. We're going to be figuring out who, like, is going to die because Sakura is already dead, so somebody needs to take the punishment, so, right? So, yeah. We'll see what happens later. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time. This is Chad Bayer, and peace out.